Dirt roads to rock crawling, two-buck chuck to screaming eagle, moonshine to 50-year-old single malt. We talk about it all here on Wheelin' Wine and Whiskey with your hosts, Jason and Chris.
Welcome to Wheeling Wine and Whiskey, episode 127 in the home studio with Chris and Lorenzo.
Wow.
Welcome. How you doing?
I'm great.
Yeah?
Well, I'm good. I don't know about great, but I'm it's like,
I'm tired.
I bet you've been on the road. How many 24 hours of driving back and forth?
Oh man. You know, it's quite comfortable in that Ford, I got to tell you.
Yeah.
Man, the miles just click by. Listening to podcasts and some good tunes. I actually rocked out for about 5 or 6 hours of the drive.
Oh, yeah?
I just had some music rolling and just cranking. Sound system's pretty good in that truck.
A lot of interruptions from the ham radio, though.
A little bit, yeah, yeah. We had a few deals. Yeah, there's a couple bad accidents. One going out and one coming back. I mean, like shit scattered across the highway. Bad.
Really?
Yeah. So.
Or Fords?
No. One was a Chevy and one was a semi truck that I don't know if the guy fell asleep or what, but there wasn't much of the truck left.
Shit.
But anyways. Yeah, a lot of miles. I think it was a little over 1,500 miles total round trip.
Wow.
Yeah, like $400+ in fuel, diesel fuel to get out there.
That's it? Damn.
Yeah, I was getting like 11. I was averaging like 11 miles per gallon. Not bad with the camper, and the full load.
Yeah.
On the back there, the buggy and the trailer, and
You're probably lighter coming home.
yeah, I burned up all the gas that I had. I brought out 20 gallons of fuel, and I don't know, and then of course all my tanks were full and stuff with the water and stuff. But anyways, it was good. So yeah, coming back, we got out there in pretty good time. Coming back, we were making really good time, and then got back to the Bay Area and Gilroy. It was just dead stop traffic Sunday night.
Welcome home, campers.
Took me an extra hour and a half. There was some accident, and then we rerouted on some side streets, and everything was just backed up. It was a nightmare. I almost stopped in Gilroy. I just pulled over on the side of the road in some ranch. I was going to just camp there, but I ended up motoring home. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's all part of the road traveling life there. But got to see drive through 4 states. I mean, California, and then you go into Nevada, and then Arizona, and then boom, Utah.
Das Utah.
Yeah.
Right on.
So it's got to drive right through Vegas.
Well, I'm sure our listeners are all looking super forward to hearing about all the details about your trip to King of the Hammers. I know that the previous episode...
King of the Hammers?
I'm sorry, King of the Hammers.
Yeah, let's talk about King of the Hammers. It's
freaking
2021. That was
Trail Hero. Wow.
See, Chris doesn't even know. He's so out of touch now.
Is this...
Amber, where are you? Where's Amber?
I know.
Amber?
Ratings were much better with Amber.
We did. We got a lot more downloads with Amber. I just saying.
Well, she doesn't fuck up like I do, apparently. So, yeah, we'll hear all about Trail Hero. We have a little bit of business to conduct.
Yeah, let's get caught
up
here now that we're at the home studio. We got computers in front of us and interwebs
and
Lorenzo's here.
Sober and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
So you were sober the whole trip and Lorenzo was not?
No, he was sober too. He's taken an active sobriety to support me.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you both have medallions now? Or?
No, we nothing. We got some Trail Hero medallions. Does that count?
I guess. Whatever works. So.
But over 50 days now. I think it's 54 or 55 days, maybe more than that. I don't know, something like that. Yeah, and the true test was Trail Hero because there was plenty of libations, and I was pouring libations. I mean, I was pouring Old Elk. Old Elk, sent us a couple bottles, and I hosted, Old Elk at night there, and threw on the Old Elk head pourer and was filling up people's glasses.
Making
and
it happen around the campfire.
But I did not partake at all, and even Randy Slauson threw me a beer, and I denied it.
Wow.
And that's like that.
King threw you a beer.
That was real, a 3-time king.
Wow.
That was a real willpower right there.
I'm impressed. I'm proud of you, man. That's awesome.
I mean, like I was telling people, it's like I don't crave it. I don't have to have alcohol to function. It's not like you, but
Really?
I go, I just I enjoy it. I enjoyed it, but it's not hard for me to just say no.
Well,
obviously,
it's a lot of people drink to get drunk. I think you're the same way. We drink because we enjoy the flavor, the variety of flavors and the subtle flavors and the various alcohols that we drink. And as you refine your palate and you get better at it, or you taste higher quality products, you notice the differences, and it's certainly worth it. I mean, going from a Jack Daniels up to a Weller or a freaking Blanton's or whatever in the bourbon world. I mean,
right.
There's a definite difference whether it's smoky or if it's sweet or tart or whatever. I mean, all the different all the nuances, and the same thing translates into wine. And I mean, while you've been sober, I'm certainly not over imbibing, but I've been enjoying wine and bourbon and whiskey and certainly not getting hammered. Well, I mean, we will. So to all of our listeners, we kind of teased a couple weeks ago about something, and I'm changing jobs, and that's kind of what's happening right now. I'm in the middle while we're recording this episode, I am currently unemployed.
There you go. Welcome to the rest of the frickin' Bay Area.
So to celebrate my ending one employment situation, Monday night, I definitely over imbibed. I had some Colonel HT
E.H. Taylor.
E.H. Taylor to start with, and then rolled into some weeded Old Elk. And
you were on point.
I was I was hitting the good stuff.
I know.
And boy, I went to bed, and I was definitely not sober. I wasn't like falling over drunk, but
I wanted to celebrate with you, but you I think you had enough for both of us there.
I think so. So, and then next week, when this episode, the day after this or before this episode drops, I will be elbows deep into my new gig, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah,
so
have to get Amber back as co-host here.
I know. I'm really looking forward to this change. It's going to be awesome for me and hopefully my state of mind, because
absolutely,
I've been kind of in a funk for the last bit. So.
No, that's good, and congratulations. I think it's a great opportunity and should be awesome. So
I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you. So. Okay, so a couple of other items. So we talked about the new job. Patrons. So we have a new. We love our patrons. All of our old patrons that have been sticking with us for over a year. We've had patrons for over a year now.
They're not old. They're veteran patrons.
Veteran patrons.
Patrons that we admire.
That's right.
Think and are very grateful for.
Absolutely, they're making this show happen. Keeping it on track and helping it fund it, because we had that scare last month with the board.
Oh, the brownout.
The brownout. We thought we were when we were recording the episode with Carlos and Kevin out at the ranch out there and
TAC 1 Fab headquarters.
We had a.
He's got. Yeah, Carlos, you need to check out that reel there. That something's not right.
Something's not right.
It's not getting a full 120 volts there. 110.
Our roadcaster did not like what it was being fed, and it decided to check out for the evening with a. It was pretty spectacular. Just kind of shut off.
Yeah, it was not good. Not good.
A pop, and then that was all she wrote. So fortunately, as we've said, we have backup, and and the show will go on. Whipped out the zoom.
Yeah, we had the portable battery operated unit.
But the update on the Roadcaster is it came back to life. I got it home. I plugged it into normal power, and it woke up, and it was okay. Yeah, the memory card was corrupted, but it's good. But the patrons, if it had been cooked, you would have been buying us a new.
We need more patrons.
We need more patrons.
No, it's been great because we just bought another microphone.
Yes,
so
sir.
we have 4 Shure mics.
Identical.
For sure. Oh my God.
Dude.
Gag me with a spoon.
Oh my God. Like totally, dude.
And I'm not even drinking. That's
I know,
terrible.
right?
What is that? Yeah.
Valley Talk.
The Valley Girls in the 80s. That's going back. Jesus. And some of our listeners weren't even born yet.
I know. They're going, man, what's wrong with these guys?
Jeez, these old farts. Yeah.
So, patrons. New patron. We have a new patron. let's just get that done. Our friend Tom
Walters.
Is our newest patron, stepping up to the old elk level.
That he definitely did. He was binge listening on the way out to Trail Hero.
Yes, sir.
He was coming in from the north side. He lives there in a sack of tomatoes, so he went up through Reno and across 395 and stuff, and so he had like a 12+ hour drive.
Nothing but time.
And it's kind of like, he listened to a couple episodes before, I guess, but then he really just and he was like, man, this is pretty good. And then he's asking me at Trail Hero, he's like, hey, what's this patron thing? And how do I join? I'm like, oh, you just go on the website, go to our webpage.
Or just give us cash.
Click on the patron link and you can donate, $5, $10, $20 a month. And
yep.
Go from there. And he goes, all right, I'm going to do that when I get home. And he did. So thank you, Tom, for stepping up to the lick log and donating some of that harder money there. So we truly appreciate it. It enabled us to get nice quality sound equipment. So that's awesome.
That's right. How do you think this comes naturally?
Yeah. Yeah, and the stickers we've been handing out and all that stuff, it helps pay for all that, subsidize that. So very much appreciated. We're still, I'm trying to go to events and get content out there. Chris will be hopefully...
I have to accrue some vacation.
Get some vacation time, be able to go four-wheeling again at some point, 2024. Yeah, we'll see. But I'm still heading out and doing stuff, and we've got some interviews that are in the works that will be great. So
absolutely.
And I think everybody enjoyed the Holly, at least by the download numbers, the Holly Fowler episode, and then we just had Kevin and Caitlin.
Caitlin, right?
The father-daughter dynamic duo.
We Rock Racers.
Rock crawlers, right. and just dominating their class. So now they're going to change classes because they're going to have a buggy. But
yes, sir.
Yeah, that was a great episode. Check that out if you haven't. And anyways, it's been good. We try and we got a broad spectrum of entertainment there. Just from from crazy shenanigans around the campfire to serious interviews to not so serious interviews to everything in between and just BSing. So
more content to follow for sure.
It's we seem to have found our niche, and we got some great loyal listeners, and we thank each and every one of you. So
for sure,
thank you very much.
Totally, for sure, man.
Thank you very much.
So yeah, absolutely. And then tailing or connecting into that is we do have some anniversaries for some patrons. People have been with us for over a year. You believe this?
This is awesome.
I know that the Snail Boys were just talking about their 2-year anniversary.
Yeah.
They've been, man, that's crazy, right? Yeah. Kind of, anyway, so we've got people that are 1 year. And so starting with, we have Rhonda, I guess that's
Lady Samurai.
Lady Samurai, right?
Yes, nice. She had a ball with us out there.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I want to hear. We need to get them on. I guess we do have some content recorded.
We got some content.
So, and then Shanice is also a 1-year anniversary patron at the $10 level.
Thank you, Shanice.
And then Rodney, JL Latte Rodney.
Oh, the latte makers year. Wow.
Yeah.
Right on, Rodney.
Stuck with us for a whole year. So, thank you, Rodney. And then last in the line of up to be current, we got Cheddar Dispenser, which that's their screen name. That's my friend Hudson.
Okay.
He owns a tree company in the Central Valley.
Oh, he doesn't earn cheddar?
No. Well, yeah, I don't know, but anyway, he's thank you Hudson for being with us for over a year, which is awesome.
That's great. Well, thank you. Happy anniversary.
Much appreciated. Yep, absolutely. So. And then you had a voicemail.
I do. So one of our loyal Rover fans here left a voicemail for me.
On the never-ending hunt is what he's doing.
Well, and he I think it started out genuine that he was trying to help me out, but I think he's trying to help himself out. But let's see.
Pretty much.
Yeah, let's see.
Hey, Jason. Hey, I want to congratulate you on your newfound sobriety there, and I realize temptation is a bitch. I want to help you out. I understand you got some plantings on the premises that might be tempting you. As your buddy, as your friend, I'm willing to take that off your hands.
Wow.
I mean, just for you. The
Take one for the
offer,
team.
let me know if I can help you. Help me help you. You know how it is. Anytime, just call me. I got you covered. I'm here for you, man. I'm here for you.
Thank you, Donnie Boy, for looking out for my my health and best interest here.
He just wants you for your Blantons.
I pretty much. That's what I gathered out of that. I feel so used. Dirty.
You want to take a shower?
Oh, my gosh. Well, yeah, I haven't seen it lately. It's buried in the cellar, but I know I have a few bottles in there.
Well, maybe I'll relieve you of one.
We can, shoot, the price of things now and scarcity of things. I mean, those bottles have to be up to 500 or something a piece now, I think.
It might be $1 million. I don't know.
That could buy me a lot of LaCroix.
It's just, who was talking? Oh, it was Code, our lawyer, Dave Code, was sent something out about how he was looking for some Weller. And I told him that the Raja had a bottle of Foolproof Weller on the shelf that's been there for a while.
Right.
And I think it's going to be there for a while longer because it's $2.99.
Woo, man. Yeah, some of this pricing has gone way off the rails.
That should be like, what, a $80 or $90 bottle, and it's almost $300.
Right.
It's just...
Yeah.
And I noticed he didn't respond when I told him about that.
No, they're not jumping on that train.
But
thanks, Don, for calling in. And remember, anybody can call in at any time. I noticed the Snail Boys have been giving out our number as the complaint line for the
bullshit.
Snail Trail.
We don't give out their number for complaints.
No, I just delete those messages. But if you want to send us a voicemail there, what's that number, Chris? 408.
408-800-5169.
That's right, 408-800-5169. And feel free to leave us a message, and we may play it on the air.
Maybe it might, even if it's dirty.
We're trying to keep up with all this stuff, but we're caught up now, I think.
I don't know. We got a lot of shit to talk about.
No, caught up on the voice messages.
Oh, are we? Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's
perfect.
good.
What else? So we talked about my new job situation. That kind of answers that. And then, so with the new job, I lost my company truck. So I got to kind of figure out,
it's a nice asset.
It was a nice asset, but, it's just funny because I went to so I'm driving my Ram pretty much full time now, and it had nothing in the tank the other day, and I went to stop at the fuel station yesterday to fill it, and the credit card, $75 it stopped automatically at, and I had just around a half a tank, $75, just about a half a tank.
Right.
And that's a 34 or 30, I'm not sure if it's 34 or 36 gallons, but I'm like, holy crap, that hurts. So I said, all right, we'll deal with it later. I don't need to fill it right away. So today, before I drove down here, I stopped at the fuel station. I'll just finish filling it up. Another $66.
Mm-hmm.
So
$4.50 a gallon.
If I'm commuting with my big truck, it's going to be a small fortune in fuel. So I think I'm going to be looking at buying a new car, some sort of commuter car. Kind of throwing it out there. I've been looking at. I can't do Toyotas. I know the Toyota boys want me to look at RAV4s and shit like that, but I've had
Prius.
That'll never happen. If I bought a Prius and you stay sober, we might as well stop.
I know. That's where pretty much we just broke the podcast right there.
But I am looking at. I threw the question out there about the Ford Maverick, which is like this new. It's both smaller than the Ranger,
right?
And it looks intriguing. It's like a brand new thing. It's not proven.
Yeah.
So what do you always hear? Never buy the first year of something new.
Right.
I don't know, but so I'm looking at the Ford Maverick, looking at Hyundai Santa Fe's and Tucson, and what else did I think about? There's some other cars out there, but that's the one that keeps catching my eye, and we just spent $5,000 fixing my wife's Jeep, so I think that Jeep Cherokee, it's cool, but I'm not.
Hashtag Chris money.
I'm really worried about the reliability of that vehicle.
Yeah.
I mean, my wife drives like a little old lady, and that thing still didn't hold up. 50,000 miles, and we're spending $5,000 on transmission repairs. Bullshit. So anyway,
You should get the Maverick Platinum.
Do they have a Platinum Maverick?
Not yet, but they got the Maverick Lariat First Edition.
They
I'm
have
looking
the
at
Lariat.
here.
Yeah.
The Lariat's
So
nice.
the pricing's not bad.
No, they're good. It's like a Ford Ranger, but hybrid, huh?
Yeah, you can get a hybrid or you can get non-hybrid. I also looked at the Ford Escape. Those. I mean, I kind of like the idea of one of those compact SUVs because with my mom living in Reno, having to drive back and forth from Reno and needing all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive, depending on what the winter situation's like. So, I don't know. I'm going to continue shopping. If any of you listeners have any ideas about your experiences with, if anybody's driving a Maverick, which I don't know, there's not a whole lot in the wild, or if you have experience with the Ford Escape or any of these Hyundai Tucson or Santa Fe, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what your thoughts on those are, because I'm in the hunt.
Yeah, cool. This it's got the power outlet in the bed and everything. Yeah, I don't know. Pretty cool little truck there for you.
Yeah, no, it'd be interesting. But I like the idea of the enclosed, everything contained inside too. So,
yeah.
I mean, I've already got a pickup truck, but
yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. There's so many options nowadays, and then they've got that Hyundai's got that I don't know what they call it, the Santa Cruz or whatever.
Yeah, Santa Fe.
No, it's like a pickup truck. It's almost like a Ridgeline thing.
Oh, really? Oh, I don't know.
But
I haven't shopped for vehicles in a while.
But it looks actually pretty cool. I wouldn't buy a Honda Ridgeline because they kind of look, I don't know. But anyway, I don't know. We'll see. Pretty cool. A lot of changes in my world. So
well, yeah, there you go. That's sometimes change isn't bad.
Nope.
Could be good.
Costs a small fortune, but it's
good.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, get ready. Open up those purse strings.
Exactly. So anyway, you got anything else you want to talk about before we move on to talk about Trail Hero?
No, other than just mention that we've got the Nationals, Ultra4 Nationals in Davis, Oklahoma.
That's right.
Oklahoma. And unfortunately, Levi Shirley, he was in a hospital bed yesterday. So hopefully he's out by the time this podcast comes out on Tuesday. And obviously, we don't have the results right now. We can predict. I'm going to go with JP Gomez for the win.
Really?
Yeah. I'm going to throw Gomez in there
for the 4,400.
For 4,400. We just saw Paul Herschel there at Trail Hero ripping it up with paddle tires on the sand. It was absolutely Ultra 4 car with paddle tires. Forget about it. That was freaking badass. So, I don't know. That thing was going like a rape ape. So I'm going to put Paul up there on the podium as well.
I'm going to put Vaughn Gittin in the podium.
Yeah, you gonna throw Vaughn into the mix there?
Yes, sir.
All right.
And it's a short track, relatively short track, so really can't discount Bleilers. I mean,
No, I know. I was just looking at this list. So you got both Bleilers there, Josh and Rusty. So,
It's going to be a great race.
Yeah.
I'm going to definitely.
And the Campbells are there, so it would be great to see Shannon or Waylon or Bailey get a little podium spot there as well.
Is Shannon going to be fully dressed?
I don't know. They like to show a little ass on the IG there, or chest, but whatever, man.
Keeping it real, Shannon. Love it.
The guy looks like he just enjoying every second of every day, and you can't fault the guy for that.
No, you can't.
Yeah, God bless him. That's awesome. So he's a character.
No doubt.
He is a character.
And we're still hoping to get him on the show. So that's
just hopefully he keeps his clothes on.
Yeah. Well, if it's remote, we can just turn the camera off.
So, so that's coming up. So look for those results on our next podcast, but it'll be interesting to see. And Justin Hall is out there. So looking forward. He's had a great season.
Yes, he has.
So I'm glad that he's out there representing at the Nationals.
4,500 class.
4,500 class. So hopefully he brings home some hardware as well. So
hell yeah.
We'll see. The doodaloo time travel of podcasting. We are recording before, and you're going to be listening to this after the race.
That's right. So you'll know. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know. If not, you can listen to the week later. But anyways, so let's talk about Trail Hero.
Did you have fun?
I had a freaking blast, man.
Yeah.
What a great event. I mean, last year I went out there and everybody bailed on me, so I just kind of went out solo. I hooked up with the Hannahs.
Right.
So that was cool last year, and we had a ball. And so immediately I knew that I was coming back and, the following year, which is now 2021. And of course I told, Tom about it, James Ronda, Kobe. They were all newbies to this event.
Yep.
And, they just, the first couple of days, they were just in awe. I mean, the scenery is incredible. Sand Hollow State Park is great. You got the reservoir right there. Then, you just, where we were camped, you just look right up the hill, and it's like looking at Magic Mountain at Disneyland there, or the castle. I don't know. Matterhorn. What is it? Matterhorn,
Space,
right?
Space Mountain or the Matterhorn? The Mountain's a whole different place.
Well, the big mountain. So the Matterhorn, and you see it at night. It's just lit up with all these different color, LED buggy whips and headlights and light bars up the wazoo, and you see all these trails going on. It's just cool. So it's a very family-friendly event. I know there was over 4,200 people registered.
Wow.
I think I heard 4,800, but there was a lot more people there because I know last year Rich mentioned that there was like 22,000 plus people there throughout the week.
Right.
And it's great. You never feel crowded because it's so spread out.
Sure.
Even on the trails, there's just trails everywhere. And, we'd catch up to people or people would catch up to us, but it just became, a extended group. I mean, it was fun. You met all kinds of people out there. I mean, on the night run, we met a couple guys from Arkansas.
Arkansas?
Yeah, they caught up to us, and I'm like, we pulled over in a big old flat area so they could get around us, and we're like, hey, you can go around. And he goes, no, man, we're just gonna tag along here if you guys don't mind.
Perfect.
I go, where are you all from? Because you got the little accent, and it was Arkansas. And one of the guys, I think it was Travis, he was driving an old Shannon Campbell car, buggy, signed by Shannon Campbell. So it was a Pinky, a version of Pinky.
Okay.
So it had the leaf springs. But badass car. So it was fun. Anyways, you just meet all kinds of people out there. I mean, everybody's out there having a good time. You're all, all four wheelers, and just, it's just,
all
awesome.
there for a common reason.
Yeah. So we left on, Thursday night, got down to, Harris Ranch. So it's just a couple hour drive for me. Kobe met there. James and Rhonda came in. And then in the morning, CJ. So CJ was the other person that had never been there before that I talked into going. And so we all took off, Friday morning, dark 100, and made the trip out to southern Utah, Hurricane, and got into camp around 4:30ish. We had some delays. There's that Virgin River Bridge project that we were sitting there for a good 45 minutes or so.
Oh, jeez, really?
Yeah, and traffic, and it's silly. They of course, they weren't working on anything. Anyways, road construction. But got there and got camp set up, and then, it was like wake up Saturday morning, and you're there. Oh, the angels are singing, birds are chirping.
Eat breakfast and go wheel.
Yeah, exactly. It was awesome. So we decided to go out, and this is a great first trail. If you hadn't been there before, it's very scenic. There's some good optional stuff for any kind of rig. The West Rim Trail.
Okay.
And so we went out there, and you get some sand, you get on the rocks, you get on some ledges, and then there's some walls to climb if you want. So it was great. There was some good welcome to Sand Hollow hill climbs, the red rock out there, that sandstone that you just
It's like sandpaper.
Grippy as, so I'm like, all right, boys, with your, they're new to this area. Let's get you on this so you can get a feeling of how steep of stuff you can climb. Because, you're looking at it and you're like, oh, crap, that's steep. And no, you can climb this, no problem. So very cool. So got the feet wet. We spent a good part of the day out there, got to the top of the world, which, is at the backside of the park there. And it is, it's got this crooked tree limb that they put a bunch of signs on. It's like Rubicon, 700 miles this way, and, Doozy this way, and Moab that way. It's pretty cool. So at that point, Amber discovered that she had some bolts missing on some U-bolts for the leaf springs, or something was not right. I didn't get the whole story, but they kind of pulled off to the side, and so James, Rhonda, and I were talking and go, maybe we'll do another trail.
Okay.
And James and Rhonda are ready for they could wheel 24 hours a day, 7 days a week if they could, right?
Right.
So I'm like, okay, well, we could, there's a couple great trails right here. The maze is right here. That's an 8 rated trail. It's like, let's go. And James got the brand new to him buggy.
Right.
We were calling it Black Betty, but then Randy Slauson shows up with Black Betty, so I don't know. But he had a little bit of a carburetor issue, brand new Holley carburetor. Well, those are gravity fed.
Yeah.
And there was 2 PSI, not 1, but 2 PSI headed to that carburetor, and it didn't like having pressure going to it.
Okay.
So there was a pressure regulator, so I backed it all the way off, so it had no pressure. Fucking thing ran great the rest of the week.
Well, there you go. Perfect.
So just dribble the fuel in, and those squirrels were happy. So, anyways, so he was running good and getting a feel for the new rig and a bunch of levers and stuff for him there that he was learning. So
pretty fancy shocks too.
Yeah. He's got some nice King coilovers and bypasses, and I'm like, wow. And he had new tires on there. So I was trying to find this one trail and this
was he running stickies?
No, not stickies.
But he had water on the front.
He had water in the tires. Yes, he had his front tires filled. So I was trying to find this one trail, couldn't find it. So we ended up right at the beginning of Plan B.
Okay.
And I'm like, well, let's run this trail. I've never ran it. It's supposed to be a good trail. And so it was just the 2 of us out there. We never saw another vehicle. Had an absolute blast. This was like late afternoon.
What's that rated?
It's 7 or 8.
Okay.
I think it's a 7, 8, 7. Okay. I'm going to go with 7. Final answer.
Yeah,
so, and it's, their ratings from 1 to 10 out there. And I think I mentioned this before. A 15 trail is nobody's done it, or just one person did it.
Refer back to the Rich Klein episode.
Yeah.
Where that's all explained.
And it's insane. So, a trail that's 7 rated or more out there is serious wheeling, I mean, even the 6s and there's always optional stuff.
Episode 120.
There you go. Episode 120. You can listen to the whole rating system, but with Rich Klein, that was a great episode. So we did Plan B, and we had a blast. It was a really cool, fun trail. I ended up climbing some ridiculous wall at the end of the thing that didn't have very many tire tracks on it, but there was some tire tracks. So somebody had done it before, but it had holes in it, and it was like twice as long as the Wall of Doom, which is like steep. It's similar to Gotta Be Nuts. There's a wall out there called You Gotta Be Nuts.
So you're like Mikey.
I am.
Give it to Mikey. Let Mikey try it.
I feel the buggy works so well, and I've got a really good feel for it now, and it's like you stick your nose into it and you're like, it feels good, and give it the onion and hit it with your purse and head right up the hill. So
put your credit card on the dash.
Yeah. So that was cool. So we had a ball and then got back to camp, at like 6 or so. We were out there all day.
Wow.
It was a good run for us, and Amber and them got back to camp okay. So that was good. We got to see the Flintstone house.
Okay.
So they call it the Flintstone house, and it's this rock deteriorates and it causes holes in it, and there was this actual room, and it looked like freaking Fred Flintstone's house, you know?
Was Wilma in there?
Yeah, Wilma wasn't there. Betty, I didn't see Betty or Barney, but Dino, Bam Bam.
Bam Bam and Pebbles.
And Pebbles. Mr. Slate. Who else can we name? The Grand Poobah Club.
Grand Poobah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, anyways, so many pictures and stuff. You're just, every time you turn around, it's like photo opportunity. You're like, okay, this is cool. So anyways, we got back to camp, or we were heading back to camp, and you kind of converge most of the time. For most trails, you converge out to these sand dunes, and there's like, roly-poly roller coaster, good climbs and crest over and these sand dunes, and then it just leads right back down to the tunnel, and then you pop back into the park and our campground.
Sure.
So we're heading down, and I look over on my left, and there's this couple that's standing on the top of this little, rock area, waving their arms like they're flagging in a 747, I'm like, oh, this isn't good. So I turn around and go over there, and sure enough, there's a side-by-side on its side.
Whoops.
Side by side. And I'm like,
Jesse?
I'm like, yeah. I'm like, hey, is that a rental? And he goes, no. And I go, oh, bummer. But he goes, no, nothing broke. Everything's good. But, we can't get it upright. And I go, no problem. So James and Rhonda came over, and I think Rhonda videoed, and then James and I did the recovery. I hooked up the winch from the Jeep, and we strapped it to the cage and got it upright again. And they were super excited and fired it off and drove out. So
nice.
Yeah, it's good. That was our good deed for the day.
Good Samaritan. Right on.
So then Sunday fun day.
Just sat in camp and watched football, right?
Right. Yes. Just stared at the water and looked at all the people having fun up on the hill. No, we met up with Holly Fowler. And we ran John's Trail and Sliplock Gulch with Holly Fowler.
Cool.
So that was fun to meet her. Finally, get to meet her, and actually, be able to have a conversation and wheel with her. Super genuine, super cool. She's making it happen out there, and it was great to hang out with her. And then some of her friends were out there.
Okay.
That became our friends, Gary and Dana from Tejas, from Texas.
Okay.
So that was cool. They have a, really well-built, I think it's an LJ. There was a lot of LJs out there, man.
Oh,
a lot of F450s, haulers, and LJs. But yeah, they just, had a nice wrap on it. I mean, it was very nicely done. Too nice to wheel out there, in my opinion. It was like, damn. But they wheeled it and did a great job. And Dana and Gary were trading off driving, and actually got to guide Dana in this one section. She was having just a wheelbase issue, and she was doing it right, but it was a momentum thing. It was just like stair steps at Hollister, and it just was getting on the throttle a little too late. So I'm like, okay, you got to just, with the automatic transmission, just apply the brake with the left foot, give it some gas with the right, and as the torque converter locks up, then let off the brake and just get into the throttle. And once she did that, she popped right up.
Great.
It was great. But then the next obstacle, I couldn't get her up, and we had to winch her down, damn near rolled and scratched up her pretty paint job on there.
Whoops.
So I was glad there was no damage there. I don't know what the line would be for that rig through there. I went up it afterwards in my buggy, and of course, with 43s, and it was just like, okay, I'm going to try this. And
stickies.
It went up, but it's a wheelbase thing, and different, there's places where that rig would do better than my buggy, and it just depends.
Are they long? Is the LJ longer than your buggy?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's got to be a longer wheelbase. That thing looked longer. I'm 110, but maybe.
Well, my Jeep is 93.
Mm-hmm.
So I think an LJ is like, and Kobe could chime in.
Maybe it's 108 or something.
Yeah,
that seems to ring a bell.
107, 108 seems to.
I don't know.
It sounds like that's about right.
And then, there's a lot of body panels there that my buggy doesn't have. So it was like, okay,
yeah, you don't
want to bang that thing up. She gave it hell, and she was doing great. She listened. That's a great thing. The women on the trail, they listen, and they are tuned in to what's going on. So
yeah, absolutely.
So anyways, Holly shows up, we were all there, and she was like one of the last ones to show up, and she shows up in her Jeep and, greets everybody. And we look on the back of her Jeep, the rear end, the rear differential, and it's got a bikini bottom on the rear differential.
What do you mean?
Like big ass bikini bottom wrapped around the center diff.
So cloth?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like a really big girl G-string.
Okay.
I think it even had like a little leopard print to it, black leopard dots, and then it was, the blue Mischief Maker blue. It damn near matched the color of her rig.
So somebody pulled a
Somebody
prank.
put that on and had a little fun with her, and so she left it on for the run, and it was quite hilarious following her and seeing this thing.
Wow.
But so she
Did it leave a little bikini line when you removed it or anything?
Right. No, I don't know. Not much sun down there. So yeah, we were on this run, and I go, we were getting toward. Well, I mean, there's a couple good hill climbs. Amber just like stood it up on this one wall and pulled it out. Holly posted that on her IG. There was after this section that I was just talking about with Dana going up and getting all twisted up, and we had to winch her down. I climbed up it, and then there was this ridiculous hill climb to the left, and we were all driving up on this obstacle and go, oh, hope we're not going up there, because it just looked bad from the bottom. And then I climbed that one section and get up to it, and Kobe and I don't know who else was yelling at me. They're like, go up the hill. And I'm like, okay, peer pressure. I guess I got to do it.
You can always say no.
So I start up this thing, and it had like this big old rock that came in on the driver's side. And then of course the hill was leaning into that rock, so you had to negotiate around that. So I got around that, but I'm like, if I have to back up, you ain't backing up. I mean, you're kind of like, it was like you're mouse trap. You were locked in.
You're committed.
Yeah, it was like the Hotel California. You check in, but you can't check out. So I'm like, okay. And then it just got super steep. And so I'm trying to crawl it. Of course, all four tires are just the seals, calling the seals. And I'm like, okay. And Kobe ran up to the top to guide me. And so I'm like, okay, I see what I got to do here. And so I go to put it in reverse. And it's so steep that my brakes will not hold me. I mean, I start sliding, right? I mean, so I get it and I slam it down into first. Finally get the brakes to stop it and grab, first gear and just goose it. Gave it the onion. And it just hooked up and started pulling me up the hill. And I'm like, okay, we can make this. But I'm like, there's no option of backing down.
Right.
We're only going forward up this hill. And we're not stopping. We are giving it all we got. So, I moderated the throttle so that I had traction. I wasn't like full, just burning off all four going up the hill. Got traction. Go. Well, then I'm like, yeah. And I'm like 3/4 of the way up the hill. Well, then it turns into sand. Steep. And I let off I had just lower throttle going into it. And then it starts kind of digging into the sand. I'm all, oh, no. Whoa. I didn't hit the rev limiter, but I was right in front of the rev limiter. Just that all 8 cylinders were singing, and it sounded awesome. And got to the top of the hill, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that was insane. And Kobe's like, holy crap, dude, And so got in with me. We rode down, and everybody's just down there going, wow.
Anybody else do it?
Nope. They're like, we can't believe we did that. I'm all, yeah, thanks for letting me do that.
Right.
Well, I won't do it again, but that definitely got my attention. That was steep. That was really steep.
Is there pictures and vid?
There are. Rhonda ran up there and got some video. Of course, the video never does justice on the steepness, but she caught some good video there.
We got to get that on the IG.
Yeah. There's so much. Oh my gosh, I could take like a week just posting stuff on there. Maybe you should do it while you got the week off.
Right. I got a few things I'm doing this week, but yeah, no, I'm not. I don't have IG skills, man.
Well, that's one way to learn. Rhonda and James picked up their skills on IG. I was showing them a few tricks, and they stepped up their IG game big time this last week there. So yeah, and then I said, okay, we can interview in the afternoon. and she had to go run some errands and stuff. And we said, okay, well, we're going to go kind of bum around some more and then head back to camp. So we headed back to camp and eased into the evening. And so we ended up meeting up the next morning to record.
Right. Which is episode.
Or was it later? No, it was later that night. It was later that night.
Okay.
Nope, it was Monday night.
Sorry. Night. Right. That's what I thought.
I'm getting, yep.
Because
nope, that was Sunday.
It didn't drop till Wednesday.
Sunday. So to finish off, though, that Sunday, so we, at the very end of this one trail, she got her rear diff hung up on a rock.
Okay.
Tore the crotch out of the G-string.
Oh, boy. Crotchless panties?
It totally made them crotchless.
Wow.
It was so funny. So she called her husband.
Cover the kid's ears.
Yeah, she called her husband. It was like, and he kind of chuckled, but she goes, oh, I didn't get the reaction I thought I was going to get. But yeah, so there was a lot of jokes about that, ripping the crotch out of the new panties on the diff.
Crotchless panties.
I mean, it would have, if you didn't hit it, that would have stayed on there for a long time. But
sure.
it definitely, so I may have some pictures of that.
Maybe.
Need to share.
Well, episode 125 with Holly Fowler.
There you go. And then so Monday, we decided to take a nice scenic run, Tokoro Falls.
Yeah, that was beautiful pictures.
And I want to call it Torkerville Falls. I don't know why, but it's Tokoroville Falls.
Isn't that from Cars?
I don't know. I didn't watch the movie, but
Cars.
So we went out there. I was right seat, but we had the Huntress with us.
Okay, Christina.
Yeah, so Christina and Jonathan Harry, the photographer, and then of course the whole Hannah crew. The V-Cross was out there with Eric and Dolly, and unfortunately Eric's Forerunner was down. He thought it was a transfer case, tore it all apart. It wasn't that. It was a rear end. Tore it apart, was waiting for parts. So he was a passenger with me a few times earlier in the week, and then this Tokoroville Falls, we were able to take just you can get up there in any 4-wheel drive.
Kobe had his street legal rig. You need to be street legal to go there, right?
Yeah, you technically, but Tom took his side-by-side that's not street legal, and he was fine. I was on my way, and James and Rhonda and I were on our way in the buggies, but we got a little bad information that oh no, we're going to take back roads and stuff, and I go, okay, we're going to be in the buggies with spooled stickies with water in the tires, like 35, 40 miles an hour is like top speed.
Yeah.
And plus they don't like to run on the pavement. And no, it'll be fine. Well, James was having some issues because, his steering wasn't 100% aligned. So it was walking the road a little bit and with the water in our tires. And I'm like, okay, how much further do we have to go? And, X amount of miles on pavement. I'm like, no, we're turning around. So we hopped in with Kobe and we went back to camp, and then Kobe picked us up, and we went and met them all. So that was cool.
Right on.
It ended up being a cool, very scenic. You do this big loop. So we came in on the upper side canyon wall, and then you go and you actually drive across the falls, the top of the falls.
Oh, right,
great.
Right.
You saw some of the photos.
Yeah, definitely.
And so we hung out there, had lunch, and then there's a bunch of places there. You can go swimming and stuff there if you want. And then we headed back down through the canyon where the river is. And so you cross the river a few times and then pop back out on the main road, and then boom, you're on the pavement and back to camp. So very scenic, very cool. And I'd heard how neat it was, and I'm like, oh, we got to do that. So we made that happen. And then Holly came to camp, met us, and we did the interview. So that was great. So yeah. And then, Tuesday we did Organized Run Unforgiven.
Okay, yeah.
It's one of the newer trails out there, and we were at the very back.
What's that rated?
I think it was an 8.
Okay.
And so James, Rhonda, and I did that run. We were at the back, and we had like 6 rigs behind us. Well, then we let them pass, so we were at the very back. So we were at the end of the trail, and James was our trail tail gunner there, part of the Trail Hero Volunteer Guides. And really cool guy. I ended up hanging out with him the whole time. Had this very well set up buggy. some really cool, unique design features in there. He had the passenger seat set up where it was like, pinned in very securely, but easily removable. And then there's this tray that's set right in there. So it was like a luggage rack that would fit where the passenger seat would go. So if you didn't have a passenger, you could put this luggage rack in there.
Oh, that was
and then when the
you.
passenger seat was in, this luggage rack fit on the back of the buggy above the fuel cell. So it was really cool. So yeah, he was from Arizona, and we had a ball chatting up with him. So if you're listening, James, thanks. Great meeting with you. And he's looking forward to getting out here to California and running Fordyce, Rubicon, Barrett. So I said, hey, hit us up. We'll give you the grand tour out here.
Yeah.
But good trail. There was a lot of ledges and stuff there, hills, hill climbs, some good off camber stuff. Right at the beginning was a crazy off camber section that was getting everybody's attention. And so, yeah, it was a great run. Met up with this guy named Colin. He had a Toyota pickup that he modified heavily. He bobbed the bed, narrowed it, all tubed out on the inside. He was from Salt Lake City, this Toyota TRD, and he's like, "Hey, Wheel Wine and Whiskey," and I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Love that podcast." And I'm like, "Well, hang on, I got some swag for you." So, I gave him some stickers and a koozie.
He had a Toyota?
He had a Toyota, yeah.
You can't handle the torque.
Yes, he did. He handled it well, man. That was impressive watching him go up there, because he ended up in front of us and watching this. So they had a group and had a blast there. So shout out to Colin on Unforgiven Trail Tuesday.
Right on.
And so we made it through, pretty good time. It took a while. There was a lot of rigs, but we just hung out in the back, and I did a couple obstacles a couple times, just waiting for people, and
killing time.
Buggy did great. So yeah, then we got up to the top up there, and then BS some more, and then worked our way back to camp. And what did we do? Let's see. So that was Tuesday.
So you didn't even talk about the opening deal on Monday night.
So Monday night, yeah. So you're right. So that was Tokoro Falls, and then we did Holly, and then it was the opening night kickoff party, they call it,
up at the resort.
At the resort, and you can drive right up in your buggy and stuff.
Sure.
It's freaking great. So I drove right up, parked in a parking spot. And Matt's Off-Road Recovery ended up parking right next to me. That was pretty cool.
With the Morvair?
Yeah, with the Morvair. So CJ had spotted it. I was in there at the party, and he sent me a text. He goes, "Dude, you got a celebrity parked next to you," and it was a Morvair. So that was pretty cool.
Freaking cool.
Yeah, the party was great. Everybody was there, and the registration line was super long. So I'm like, oh, we'll come back in the morning and hit that. But we hit the swag trailer early. So we were able to get some hats and stuff before. They didn't have any men's T-shirts at the time. They were coming in later in the week. All the shipping stuff got all screwed up like everything else.
Probably sent it FedEx.
So yeah, exactly. Our FedEx stuff didn't show till midweek.
Yeah.
So anyways, they got shirts in, I believe, on Thursday, because James and Rhonda were down in the vendor area, and they go, "Hey, they got shirts." I'm all, "Hey, pick me up a large." So that was cool. Yeah, so that was the opening party there. And then back to Monday night, we had our organized dinners and stuff, and
sure,
pizza. Sunday night, Monday we just kind of grazed at the. They had a buffet and stuff there. I think we ended up coming back and eating ourselves. James, Rhonda, Kobe, and I fixed up some pasta and stuff. But oh my gosh, just fun.
Endless activity.
It is.
Right?
It's just go from sun up to sundown. So Tuesday, that Unforgiven, we talking about all that, and then we did a night run.
Oh, okay. Did Amber do any night runs?
No, she didn't go on that night run. Her and Jason went in to visit their friend Toby. Oh, I got to give a shout out to Toby.
Okay.
We need to do a whole shout out podcast for Toby. His on Instagram, he's Snivelus. It's SNIVILUS, Lous. Look him up. He's out of Utah there. He's building this badass buggy, and he has this really well set up golf cart. I mean, side by side.
Okay.
Yeah, it's badass, and I joke around the golf carts, but it's very, very well set up, and it's got some great, sexy purple suspension on it that he had specially anodized, and so his colors are gray and purple on this thing. So we met him last year, and I mentioned him on the trail recap last year. I mentioned this guy in a golf cart, but I never mentioned his name, so he was busting my balls there. Okay. Hey, I'm Toby. My name's Toby. I said, okay. Well, I said, Toby, I'll be sure to give you a shout out on the Trail Hero recap for 2021. So, Toby, there you go. Go follow him, SNIV, ILOUS, Snivelous. And he's from Cedar City, Utah.
All right.
Or, somewhere in Utah. I just
started following him.
There you go. See?
2,665 followers.
He's building some cool shit. So anyways, Toby, there you go. I'll say your name a couple more times in this podcast just to recoup, so I don't have to listen to shit next year at Trail Hero.
Well, you need to repeat the name 3 times to lock it in.
That's right. All. That's right. So that was great. So they went out to dinner there, and we had a blast at camp once again. Oh my gosh, going into Wednesday, we're halfway through the week, hump day, and I ended up hopping in right seat. I thought I had a clear morning. I thought I was just going to relax. I woke up, I made my coffee. At least this is what I was thinking in my head before I even, got out of bed. I get a phone call from Tom. It's like 7:45. Hey, you going with me on the side-by-side run? And I go, oh, shit, I forgot. Oh, crap. Okay. Well, we got to be out there at 8:30 or whatever. I'm like, crap. So freaking woke up, made some coffee, freaking brushed my teeth, and then jammed out there and hopped in the side-by-side with Tom. I'm really glad I did. It was a lot of fun. Miles Kimberly, who is the founder of Trail Hero for a Day. Hero for a Day, not Trail Hero for a Day. Hero for a Day Foundation. He's a veteran, and thank you for your service again, Miles, and all the veterans out there. It was incredible. The rah American spirit is alive and well in Utah.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it was very cool seeing. So it was just him, our guide, Tom, and I, and then another guy behind us. Tom, and I can't remember her name, who basically was one of the engineers for the Atlas transfer case, the original Atlas transfer case.
Okay.
It was just the 3 rigs. And so we hauled ass, and we went all the way around the mountain. Okay. And the run that we were going on was called Dinosaur Tracks. So, and it had rained the night before, so it was like, a little wet. And so he's like, hey, we're going to stay out of some of these riverbeds that are going to be nasty.
Okay.
And he knew the mountain inside out. He guides out there. So we went out, and he's showing us around. We went out to Fort Pierce, an actual fort.
Okay.
So it's just the stone walls that are left now, but had been renovated, and I guess, I don't know, few years ago they came in and renovated and reinforced it with some rebar and stuff, but it was cool to see that. But then we actually got to see Dinosaur Tracks.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah, we're going to walk in here into this area, and there's, it used to be mud where these dinosaurs walked, and then it became rock.
So these are tracks, not fossils.
They're actual tracks in this rock.
Huh.
And I've got pictures of it, and there's a whole sign talking about the whole deal. And, I'm going to say Tyrannosaurus Rex because that's the only dinosaur I can think of right now. But it wasn't that. It was something, a couple of these. Velociraptor. Yeah, that's another good one. So
watch Jurassic Park.
What's the one with the short arms?
It's a T-Rex.
Oh, T-Rex has the short arms?
He can't brush his own teeth.
You can. Can't pick up the check. So
why do you watch Toy Story?
Alligator arms.
You know what it's all about.
No, I don't. I haven't seen those movies.
Oh shit.
So, so he's like, hey, anybody got some bottled water? You put it on the tracks. They pop a lot better. They show up better. And so he's like, yeah, over here. And it was crazy. There was, these dinosaur tracks all over the place. So, super cool.
Right on.
Super, super freaking cool. Then we came around to a memorial with a flag and BS'd up there. And it was great. So we got back to camp at like noon. He says, I'll have you back at noon. And I swear we covered like 50 miles. I think we did like 20 something, but we went all the way around the mountain.
Wow. Cool.
And it was great scenery. So that was what was that, Wednesday I said? Yeah, Wednesday.
Hump day.
I failed to mention that Tuesday night that we did a night run. So I started talking about that. But yeah, so Jason from the full size on the full size pickup, the Chevy, badass square body pickup. That's down by Kevin Jones down there, the Pismo area, Central California. So he came into camp, so I'm like, dude, he's like, yeah, I just got here, I'm all, you want to go wheeling? We're going on a night run. And he goes, yeah, hell yeah. So he went out with us. That was a blast. And yeah. And then those guys from Arkansas. Oh, it was Nathan and David. So I have my notes here. Man, very good, Jason. Typed them into my phone. They were from Arkansas. So Nathan was the one that had the camel buggy.
Okay.
Yeah, and David, I guess, has a buggy as well, but then he had this other, I think it was a TJ, very well set up. I mean, it was caged and badass. So yeah, that was the night run. Made it through that. It was interesting at night. We did double Sammy, which is like a 6 or 7 rated trail, but with the rain, it made it very interesting.
I bet.
And a little slickery. There's a couple optional lines at the very beginning of the trail, and I tried one of the steeper climbs, and I kept sliding off, and I'm like, all right, it's too early to mess around with this shit. Let me just go back on the normal trail. So,
right.
So yeah, so it was cool hanging out with Jason, full size, and watching a full body rig go through that trail.
I bet
at night.
Jeez,
he did it.
Right on.
He can wheel. So then Thursday, I'm like, okay, we got to do the Fallen Trail. That's my favorite trail. And we went out there. So we did a leisurely morning, which was nice. Just hung out. The weather was good. And we were waiting for Eric, Amber's dad, to get his rear end back together, the third member, for the Toyota. Imagine that. Toyota broke down.
I know, right?
I know. Hard to believe. And it happens. So I said, hey, man, you got to do the trail with us, And so we were waiting. And finally it got to like, I don't know, it was close to noon. I'm like, all right, we got to go. We got a pretty good sized group. So he goes, oh, no problem. I'll catch up with you guys. And he did.
Okay.
He did. So we got out to the Fallen, and thanks to Jake from Cardo Tracks, not Jake from State Farm.
Hey, did you meet up with him at all?
I did. I did.
Good. Okay,
yep.
Perfect.
Met up with him quite a few times. Saw him Monday night at the kickoff party.
Okay.
And then we saw each other in passing on the roads, and then we were talking to him at the vendor show.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Good.
So, but the Cardo Tracks helped me out a ton on Plan B itself, because that dot is so accurate on there. I mean, there was places where you would lose the tire tracks and stuff, and I'm like, okay, and I James and Rhonda are following me, and I'm like, nope, we're off track. We got to go back this way, and get right back on track, and then sure enough, there's a trail.
Okay.
And so that was great at night, running double Sammy at night in the dark. It was wet. And then, doing getting to the Fallen Trail, I found a way easier way to get there than what we did last year.
Okay.
Following his map. So I'm like, right on. So when I was talking to him at the vendor show, I'm like, dude, maps paid off big time.
Right on.
So that was cool. But the Fallen Trail, absolutely great obstacles. And Tom came with his side-by-side. No. Yes. He was there with a side-by-side, so he was able to go around a lot of the obstacles. And Victoria was there, his fiance, so she got to ride along and not be freaked out by the really steep, crazy stuff that you could bypass. So it was great, but you can all stay together and do the run. So that's what I really love about a lot of those trails out there. And, we get to those one wall that all the pictures I took of Amber standing up basically on one wheel last year. Well, she did the same thing this year. And then the next obstacle is you kind of go over some side hill rocks and cool little canyon area, and then you pop out, and then there's the big crack.
Right.
And so we were looking at it, and, so James, I guided him up successfully. I'm like, hey, the whole key is getting your passenger rear up on the wall. And once your passenger tires are on the wall, then you just ride the crack. And then the key is not to turn off too soon. You don't want to pull out too soon at the top.
Didn't never pull out.
Don't pull out. So guided him up, worked out great. He did a great job. James is super stoked. I'm like, okay, cool, my turn. So Caleb's riding with me.
Oh no, that's the first mistake.
Apparently. So I get in there and I get way too high up on the wall. I'm looking at the videos, afterwards, and I'm just way too high up on the wall because the buggy just sticks. I don't know. I was just thinking that it would slide a little bit. Or something. I don't know. Whatever. I got too high on the wall, and so that put my driver's side tires in the crack essentially. And then they slip down.
Oh, boy.
And so you've got a very high right side and a very low driver's side.
So you flopped.
Damn near flopped. Yeah, I wasn't touching. None of the buggy was touching ground. But it was pretty severe. Thank God I had the new harnesses in because Caleb stayed put, or else he would have been on top of me. We were leaning so much. And so, they're like, okay, just back up real quick. And I'm like, okay, let me just bump it and see what it does. And it started to rear up. I'm like, that ain't going to work. And then, okay, try and drive forward. No, it just kept getting worse. So I'm like, okay, I'm done. Shut off the engine. So I just sitting in there in the driver's seat waiting for a winch or something. And, I hear a lot of talking and ideas, and I'm trying to figure it out from the driver's seat of what to do. I knew that my winch wasn't going to do anything because it was angled too high.
Sure.
So, anyways, ended up getting out, and then I'm like, okay, James hooked up a winch to me, and
How
we
the hell
ended
did
up
you get out? Did you have to go through the windshield?
right where the windshield would be. Yeah, basically.
Wow.
Stood up and just walked out. It wasn't bad. The bad thing was getting back in because so he started winching me, and then I had it in park. I made sure to have it in park because we've all seen those videos where you winch it back over and then it rolls down the hill. So I'm like, okay, I am in park. Everything's good. But I do want to get back in it because, I need to help steer this thing. Even though I had the engine off, I could still steer the hydraulics.
Right.
Super difficult to do, but it works. And so getting back in it, it was so hard to get that seatbelt back on.
I bet.
Because, you want to fall out.
Yeah.
And so I got the seatbelt back on and we, pulled it back, basically pivoted around. It did hit the cage a little bit on the driver's side, didn't rip off my driver's mirror. Tom and I rotated that around, so saved that mirror. And then once we got it to a point, then it was where we could flip it over on all four. And I don't know how many people came over, but there was like 5 or 6 people that pushed it back on all four.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So, and then there was another guy there, this Chris Desert Dog. He has a YouTube channel, and he was filming while I was sitting in there sideways, and he's like, okay, in-car, video, So I'm like, yeah, Jason from Wheeling Wine and Whiskey, and sitting on our side here, enjoying our time here at Trail Hero.
Yeah, he is.
So I made his video. I just saw it today. It's on the YouTubes there, Chris Desert Dog, and it's like 20 minutes in.
Okay.
But he did a recap of their whole group's trip. So, and he's got a video of me laying on the side and stuff. So it's pretty cool. Obviously, we got a ton of videos that I need to post, but
sure.
Yeah, it was a flop. Amber and I were like, and Amber goes, "Man, you were calm." I'm like, "Well, it wasn't going anywhere. Nothing was on fire. So
Nope.
I'm on fire. On fire."
Get your element within reach, so who cares?
Yeah,
right?
exactly. We did lose a little engine oil, but I had my spill kit. So once we got everything upright, we went in and put some sand on the oily area, soaked it up, threw that in the garbage bag, and then I had my absorbent pads.
So let me get this straight.
Soak
You clean the spilled lube out of the crack?
Yep, right out of the crack.
Wow.
Just clean the crack. Wiped it. Yep. It was good.
For you.
And then we sprayed it with a bio.
Make sure that crack is clean.
Yep. And then we sprayed that crack with a bio afterwards. So,
nice.
So it was clean for the next customer.
Well used crack.
Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say anything else, Chris.
Okay, so we've used that one up.
Yeah. Giggity, giggity. Tyler would be hee hee. So, anyways, so that was cool. So Eric caught up with us there, and his commentary is funny.
Good.
So that was cool. Let's see, what else do we have here? Man, going on to Friday. Whew, man. So Friday it rained all day.
That's what I heard.
All day. We were scheduled to run Milt's Mile with Ian Johnson and Corey from Miracle Truss.
And you did.
And we did. People are like, you think they're going to cancel? I'm like, no, dude, you're at Trail Hero. These are hardcore four-wheelers.
We're going.
I said it's going to take an act of God to shut this event down. And, so it was great. James and Rhonda come over with garbage bags, that they made ponchos out of. Gave them some Wheel and Wine and Whiskey stickers to put on there so it looks like a legit,
poncho?
rain outfit. Yeah. And I had rain gear, so I was like, okay, cool. Just bundled up with the rain gear, had my rain hat. And so we got there, and we were towards the end of the line again. But it was cool. Ian came down and was talking to everybody in line.
Okay.
Welcoming them to the run and like, hey, we're going to have a great day, rah, 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 handing out koozies. And then so we were at the end, so we got to hang out with him for a while. We were BSing down there. And it was like, okay, let's go. And so being at the end, it was wet. People were slipping. The waterfalls actually had water running down them, which was super cool, but it made it difficult for a lot of rigs to get traction. Yeah.
Slickery.
Again, Buggy did awesome. I was worried about, all the gauges. Everything was getting soaked. My ham radio was staying pretty dry, and it's water resistant.
Yep.
So it was fine. No damage or anything, but, it was coming down.
Notice
hard.
You have curly hair now, though.
Yeah, pretty much. But, yeah, so, and no heat, that's the one time where I wish I had the engine up front. I had the seat heater on.
Yep. Did you have a right seat?
I did not have a right seat on that run.
Oh, okay. So nobody wanted
to ride with me on that run. So, so it was good. We get up a couple of the waterfalls and monkey, what do they call that one section? The monkey paw or monkey something, 3 monkeys, they call it. So I ended up having to go a really difficult section there because Eric got hung up. He went on the run with us. So he got hung up in this one crack and couldn't go forward, couldn't go back.
Okay.
So I had to go up and winch him. And then, we played around on other obstacles and BS with people. And then we got up to the flats towards the end of the trail. And then there was this ditch off to the left. And I go, hey, James, I'm going to go down in there and play. You might want to check this out. I might have goaded him a little bit more, but so went in there and got super flexed out. I made it through the first section. I was like, damn. And then I came up to this wall, this ledge, undercut ledge that was like 5 feet tall.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, there ain't no way I'm putting a tire on this thing, So James was having problems, so I went back and helped him. We ended up having to winch him out of this section. He was ready to just lay it over on its side in the trench up against the wall. So Tom put the winch on him, put pressure on the rig, and he was able to drive out of it.
Good.
But extreme pressure on the steering and everything. I was just waiting for something to snap. I'm like, oh, just take it easy, take it easy, take it easy. It's just all these pressures on it. So then I get back in my buggy. So he's back on the flats, and I'm in this crazy twisted up predicament. So I'm like, okay. So my front tire, driver's front tire, is on this 5-foot undercut wall filled with 325 pounds of water.
Uh-huh.
And it climbed the wall. And I'm like, oh my God. Because I was waiting for an axle snap or something. I mean, it was super extreme.
Uh-huh.
And tire walked right up. And I'm like, whoo. Now I got to get the rear to walk up this wall. The rear would not walk up it. It just skidded off the side, skidded off the side. And I'm like, oh man. So I was fully flexed out.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, okay, maybe I can drive out of it. And the other tire's like, I'm looking down at the driver's rear tire. And I mean, it's like looking down the Grand Canyon. I'm like, oh, there's a tire way down there. Hello. And, I got to a point where it just wanted to roll over then. It just got so twisted up. So I'm like, hey, Tom, get your winch again. So we put the winch on the roll cage and and pulled me over so I wouldn't roll, and I was able to drive out of it.
Good.
But it was extreme, super extreme. Had no business being down in there, but, it was fun to play, and we were waiting for the group in front. So, and then, of course, a bunch of people came up and was watching us. So we put on a little, I don't know if we put on a clinic, but we put on a little show.
There you go. Well, showing off is good if you've got the tools to do it.
Yeah. So that was cool. We got done, 2-ish or whatever. And then one guy that had a Bronco in the group, he lost his ignition coil or something. He had no boom boom, no spark. So Tom ended up towing him back to camp. So that took a little bit of time. Got him back to his trailer and stuff. We went back to camp. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to take a nice hot shower. Great facility there at the campground, nice hot showers and bathrooms and stuff. So took a nice long hot shower there, got back in the camper, fixed a bowl of chili, got all warmed up.
That's when you called me and you're macking on chili.
Yeah, and I had clothes hanging all over in there. It looked like a Chinese laundry. So, had the heater going, just trying to warm up and get clothes dry. And then I get this text saying, "Hey, come on over to Randy's camper." Yeah. Randy Slauson was camped with us. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Never heard of him.
We interviewed him. You remember we interviewed him in March?
3-time king?
Yeah, 3-time king.
King of the Hammer?
Yeah, so
freaking. Oh, yeah.
Randy frickin' Slauson was camped with us with his, brand new Black Betty 4-steer buggy and the Trail Bomber.
Yep.
And then Mike from Soul Portraits on Instagram that does all the cool photos and video stuff, and he's fabricating and so he rode up with Randy. He lives in the Reno area.
Sure.
So it was cool to see him at camp and hanging out with him. And then Jake, this I think he's 20 years old, a young kid. He's got a badass propane powered buggy. So he was part of that crew. So it was cool meeting Jake there.
Cool.
Anyway, so we go into Randy's motorhome. And of course, they're all drinking. Kobe's not drinking. He was sober this trip as well.
Oh, he's in that.
So I walk in with my Sierra Trek mug with cranberry juice and ginger ale.
Uh-huh.
Normally it'd be like a vodka cran, right?
Right.
But it was, and Randy's like, "What are you drinking?" And I go, "It's cranberry juice and ginger ale." Go here, put some vodka in. I'm like, no, I'm not drinking. Okay. So it was cool. So watching 2009 King of the Hammers in Randy's motorhome while it's dumping rain, and with his colorful commentary of all the different characters of King. Oh my God, it was freaking priceless.
That's cool.
Oh my gosh, it was so funny. And so I'm just sitting there going, this is awesome. Watching a King of the Hammers vintage video with a 3-time king.
Yeah.
Not a king, a 3-time king.
I know. Well, I'm just saying. I mean, that's surreal.
Pretty freaking cool.
Yeah.
So we had some great commentary and stuff there. I was laughing. It was so much fun. So that was a good way to pass the afternoon. And then from his motorhome, I could see, off in a distance where the trail breaker was. That was going on.
Uh-huh.
And it was, dumping rain. And so it finally slowed down and stopped. So I'm like, hey, let's go out and catch trail breakers. So we went up there. A bunch of people started working their way over there after the rain. I just caught Jason Childs at the very end. He was the very last guy, went down the first obstacle and unfortunately slid, and it put him on his lid. So got that rollover. But that was the end of it. So Caleb Redden, who won last year, won this year. The course, we walked the course a couple days prior, and I'm looking at this stuff just going, no.
Well, you gotta have 4-wheel steer at that point.
Well, 4-wheel steer and anti-gravity boots or something. I don't know, man. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what these guys are doing.
They put helium in the tires.
It is insane. It was insane. Some of these drop-offs and climbs and side hills and cracks and very, very cool course that they had set up. And it was super spectator friendly. You could get up high on and just look straight down on them. And I mean, it was teed up for a great event. Unfortunately, it rained all day, but they made it happen. Hats off to Rich and his crew. They pulled off the event and just kept things going. So yeah, that was cool. Let's see what else.
Just keeps on coming. Huh?
Okay, yeah. Now Saturday. I mean, we did 8 straight days of wheeling.
Saturday.
8 straight days of wheeling. 30 gallons of fuel I burned.
Nice.
in the buggy. That's crazy because that thing just kind of sips fuel.
Yeah.
I mean, you burn some more out there in the sand because you get into it, but so Saturday, oh man, I don't know. It was just go. We ended up going out wheeling. We were gonna go do, what trail were we gonna go do? Queens Court, or the other one was Faulty Towers.
This is not an organized run.
No. It's just us. Faulty Towers was one that we were looking for, but found it, and it was way further than I thought it was. I remember driving by the sign. I'm like, oh, I want to try that. Well, apparently it was way out there. So
okay,
I'm like, hey, we're right here by Risky Biz. Let's do Risky Biz. And there was some Jeeps struggling on the first obstacle. I'm like, well, let's go up there, and you could go around them. So next thing I know, I look behind us, and there's Slauson.
Okay.
And Black Betty, and then there's unfortunately Eric's rig was leaking too much oil, so he didn't take it. But I don't know, they must have had some conversation at camp. Next thing I look, Eric is riding Randy's trail bomber, driving the trail bomber.
Wow.
Yeah, with Stuart, his son, Amber's brother, in the passenger seat, and Gavin was there. Maybe Gavin was with him. Gavin was his passenger seat.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh my God, this is too freaking cool. So, and Amber was there. Of course, James and Rhonda, we were rolling with the crew there. And, Randy tries this crack with the 4-steer, and he gets kind of wedged, and it's, something's not right. And he's pissing out some oil out of the rear steer. One of the hydraulic hoses was leaking. And he shuts it off, and I go, what's up? And he goes, I think I lost reverse. I go, oh, shit. So I end up taking my buggy, driving around on this crazy little obstacle, dropped a winch line to him, winched him off the wall so we could lower him down, got him down onto the ground. And, it's like, we're down there BSing, and I said, okay. And then James had separated his front driveline, trying to climb one other wall that was right there.
Okay.
And so he was working on that. Well, he had that fixed by the time we got done, so we're all BSing, and, it's like, okay, well, we're going to go forward. Randy, you want me to tell you back to camp? No, I still have forward. Let's go forward. I'm like, hell yeah. So we ended up going up the trail and doing other obstacles and stuff. It ended up being a cool trail. Well, then I talked about
sounds like,
I know, the young kid, Jake, thank you. So he and his buggy, his propane powered buggy, goes off. Kobe was riding with him.
Okay.
And they go off on this other optional line. Pretty gnarly, get hung up on the rear axle. I mean, just totally just anchored. It couldn't go forward, couldn't go reverse. I don't know if it stalled or if he shut it off, but we said, okay, let's get a winch over here and we'll just pull you off the rock and go. So we get everything set up and he goes to start it. It won't start.
Oh, bummer.
Cranks, but no spark. Again, coil's bad. Oh. How the coil went out at that instant, I don't know, but the coil was bad.
Was it a Toyota?
It was a Toyota coil and Toyota running gear. Anyway, so then I had to do my my Hank Hill impersonation. I said, damn it, Bobby. I told you to fill those propane tanks this morning. I didn't work my ass off all these years selling propane and propane accessories for you to go out in your buggy and get stuck and run out of propane. Damn it, Bobby.
Daddy. Sorry, Daddy.
Yeah, so anyways, it wasn't the issue. It was the coil. So Eric took the trail bomber down and got, the coil because he had a spare Toyota coil and ran back. They put it in. We all sat there and watched, and then got the buggy started right up, and we were off and running. So I said, hey, I got to get down to the vendor show because it was a nice day, beautiful day after it rained all day, Friday, and the vendor show was going off. I mean, it was crazy busy. Everybody was down there, constantly seeing people that you knew, and
right.
It was awesome. So, and we had to get back because we did this trail hero hunt with BFG. So there was 15 waypoints that you had to get photos of out there. So James Ronda and I, Kobe I think he only missed like 3 or 4. So, but anyways, we did that, and you had to be there live to win. I mean, they're giving away a set of tires, winch, Warren winch, and a lot of great prizes. Unfortunately, we didn't win, but we were down there. We got to talk with Jake for a while, and then and the guys from Miracle Trust, Corey, and then, of course, Ian was right there in that booth all day.
Cool.
So hung out with him. Ended up giving him some old elk to try since he still hasn't tried it. So I gave him a bottle of old elk. I slapped a Wheeling Wine and Whiskey sticker on it so that he remembered that it came from us.
Nice.
I even threw in an old elk pourer.
Oh, good.
So I'm like, you have to use the pourer with the old elk, just to authenticize this whole thing, authenticate. And he goes, right on. He goes, well, you got to try this Chat whiskey. So he's supposed to be sending some Chat whiskey our way. So we'll see. Hopefully that'd be awesome.
Hopefully you're drinking by then.
Yes. And then we wanted to record the podcast with him, and just timing. He was leaving early Sunday morning, like we were, and he says, hey, you need to come out to Tennessee. And I'm like, yeah, we do. We really do.
There's multiple reasons to go to Tennessee.
So we need to spool up the Wheeling Wine and Whiskey Jack or get it out of Repo or wherever it is right now. I don't even know where it is.
We need to find out what Tyson's doing with it. Lorenzo and Tyson.
Do you know where it is? Are you shaking your head no?
He doesn't remember where he left it.
I know. You don't even know, do you?
He needs to be drunk to remember. Here, come here. I got a bottle.
Put his head down. He feels ashamed.
I got a bowl of bourbon for you.
Yeah. So he got a full massage and treatment from Holly.
Really?
Yeah, he was sitting on Holly's lap the whole time during the interview.
Is there a happy ending right now?
Nice. I don't know. I didn't ask. Didn't know, but he was quite content.
Was going to ask you, did you see Glenn or Kimberly Plake?
Oh yeah, saw them out there. They're the hostess with the mostest, and Glenn was doing all the announcing. Okay. Abe Wine, Shop Rat, was out there.
Sure.
He was helping out with the Ultra4 Cross. What do they call that? Rock Cross.
Rock Cross.
So the Rock Cross was cool. So Wednesday afternoon, we got to watch. They were doing like time trials, and Paul Herschel with the paddle tires on there just ripped.
He was moving some sand.
Yeah, and then there was McCowan. Is it Matt? Matt McCowan? Mike McCowan. Matt, I want to say. He has Campbell's, race car.
Okay.
Badass. So he was ripping around. Edwin Abb, Arturo Tire, was ripping around out there. And then there was, so it was just the 3 of them on Wednesday. It was cool. They had a jump set up in the sand and then had to go around a pole, and then twisty course at the end that was bermed, and then this crazy like kicker at the end that just sent them the ass end up in the air flying at the finish line. Yeah, that was kind of odd. But anyways, very cool. Hear them ripping across the sand. So then it's Matt McCowan. Yeah, Matthew McCowan. So they were camped right across from us too, in the Sandpit campground. So it was fun group. Anyways, so Friday night at 8 p.m. was a rock cross. Well, it had rained all day, right?
Right.
And so the rain had stopped, and so they started the rock cross. But I think they were going to have multiple cars at a time, but they didn't do that. They ended up racing timed again.
One car
at a time. Yeah. So it was a bummer. Because I'd been texting with JT because we wanted to interview him as well, and JT Taylor, and the rain kind of screwed up that event for him. But it was a good first run year, and I could see that's going to be a big event next year.
Cool.
Just another added bonus to Trail Hero.
Well, my goal is to be there next year for it, so yeah.
Yeah, concerts on the beach. I mean, they had DJ Trust was there spinning records during the day in the vendor show, and then he was down at the beach at night. They had another band down there, and then Saturday night they had Scotty Mac Band that played. Unfortunately, it was windy, but again, these are hardcore people, and they're out there in their lawn chairs and sitting in their rigs and watching this concert. I mean, it was super cool. It was like a drive-in, but a concert.
Sure.
Everybody drove their rig right up to the stage, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, man, I don't know. Do I have any other notes here? It was just go, go, go. We packed up Saturday night and then went, unfortunately, that next morning we hit the road at 6 a.m. and got out of there.
Yeah. All good things have to come to an end.
Yeah. So did I mention Toby Snivelis on Instagram? Yeah. Okay, good. Just want to make sure I mentioned him.
Yeah, we talked about that.
I know.
You covered everything. I mean, well, you probably haven't covered everything. But.
So mechanicals, very few in our group.
Good.
So Amber was always kind of wrenching on something. She had like a brake caliper come off, but she got that fixed right away. I mean, anything that was broken got fixed right away.
Sure. Well, yeah,
James had to replace a rear brake caliper. It was leaking. It was a brand new one. Well, new rebuild from O'Reilly.
So went to town to pick a part up.
Had to go into town, found one, put it on. He had a battery go out on the night run.
Really?
Yeah. So that was kind of crazy. So full size Jason, he had 2 batteries in his back of his truck.
Okay.
So they were easier to get to. So he pulled one battery out. I set it on the floorboard in front of Rhonda on James's buggy there.
Uh-huh.
And somebody else that was out there running with us had
battery cables,
jumper cables. So we hooked them up to the battery that was under the hood, ran them inside the cab, hooked up the negative to the battery that was on the floorboard, and I handed the positive cable to Rhonda. I said, "Don't touch anything with this."
Time to do some sketchy shit. Doo-da.
So I go,
see
look,
if we can get away with it.
Yeah.
Oh-da-doo-da-day.
She was a little nervous. I think she was thinking that she was going to get, shocked. And I'm like, no, you're not going to get shocked or anything. You're fine. But I'm like, if James stalls it, you can just reach down and touch this cable or clamp it onto the positive post of this battery, and you guys can start and get going again.
Yep.
Well, he never stalled it and was able to keep things going. So, yeah. Yeah, he did. I know he was earlier in the week. We had that carburetor, and then he was learning his levers, the front, drive line disconnect and stuff. So, but the buggy did really well. It was a great shakedown run, and like I told him, I'm like, you basically did a year's worth of wheeling in 1 week,
pretty much.
So what a shakedown run for a new to you rig. And, you could see, where your weak points are or things that you want to improve on and stuff for next trip. So, and my buggy did great. Other than losing a little bit of oil out of it, I had to top off the oil, dump fuel in it every morning, grease threw a little spray on all the Heim joints every morning. But yeah, it was great.
Good.
It was nice not having to do any late night wrenching. Now there were people out there doing that in camp,
sure
grinders going, welders, and everybody. And BFG had a full shop going again,
just like they do at Meadow Lake.
It was badass. So that was cool. The support and the people, excellent event. I don't know if you can only go to one event, this is the one for the year. I
said that over and over again.
Yep.
So,
and did I mention Toby?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. Had that in my notes here.
Yes, you did.
I hope Toby listens.
Well, thank you for the recap, Jason. Sounds like you had did you sleep?
No, very little sleep this trip. Actually slept very well. I was very comfortable, with not drinking. I sleep very well. There's no, hangovers in the morning or anything. Right.
Hair of the dog, no Bloody Marys.
Nope.
No.
No, it was good.
No Nuku.
No, had great meals. Kobe did the German night, so we had schnitzel and spätzle.
Ooh, I love that.
I did the steak night. Cooked up some killer New York steaks. We had pasta night that Dolly did in the camper that rainy day.
Mm-hmm.
So that was great. Man, just so many great times.
How many people popped in when you threw down the advert for the?
We had a few, drive by and hand out a few shots. Gary and Dana from Texas stayed and had dinner with us and stuff.
Oh, good.
They brought some brisket.
Oh, nice.
They had some smoked brisket.
Texas barbecue.
So good.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was cool. There was and then having Randy in camp, there was a lot of people coming by and
Sure.
Waving and pointing like, "Hey,
That's Randy Slauson.
That's that new bomber car that he just built, that 4-steer."
Yeah, for $100,000, we could have one too.
Yeah, probably more than that, but yeah, it was cool. It was fun, and just Randy's down to earth and just no bullshit guy. I love it, and we had a blast. It was a really good camp and a lot of fun. So already looking forward to 2022.
Well, I hope
and
to be there.
The dates for that are October 3rd through 7th, 2022. So put that down on your calendar, Chris.
Perfect. I'll write it down right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, there you go. Nice recap from Jason on Trail Hero. Hopefully I'm there next year. We can record from there and hopefully have another pile of interviews for you.
Yes.
In the meantime, back to reality.
Yeah, you talk for a while. I'm done.
Well, there's not a whole lot left to say. We've got, we're going to wrap this thing up pretty quick here. But,
right.
If you want to get a hold of Jason or I, you can do Chris or Jason at wheelingwineandwhiskey.com.
Right.
We also mentioned our phone number for voicemails and any other shenanigans that you want to report to us is 408-800-5169. That's again 408-800-5169. Now, also, I know we've been talking a little bit about it, but merch. We're coming up on the holiday season, folks. Nothing says I love you like a nice hoodie for your sweetheart. So,
nice Wheeling Wine and Whiskey hoodie.
Wheeling Wine and Whiskey hoodie. So go to our website, www.wheelingwineandwhiskey.com, and there's a link there for our merch. You can go there and try it and buy what you like. And our guy, Dirtbag Johnny, will fulfill those orders and get them out to you straight away.
Yeah, and you want to work out some kind of holiday package thing or something. So we'll have to talk to Johnny about that and see what we can do there.
Yep, we'll we'll report on that and keep you up to date.
But the koozies make excellent stocking stuffers.
Hell yeah, they do. They make excellent things to stuff into.
I'll tell you, yeah.
I mean, Kevin Jones' kids use them as magic wand holders.
Yes.
So,
good.
So I mean, hell,
yeah, they're
not just for drinks.
No, and I can attest. I had my Dr. Pepper in the buggy with the koozie, and even at that extreme 90-degree side angle, didn't come undone.
Yeah, but the Dr. Pepper all poured out.
No, you know what? I didn't lose it. It was like half full at that point. So, because when I got out and we flipped back over, and then I'm like, a little bit of a dry mouth.
Was it half full or half empty?
It was half full.
Okay, you're always positive.
Always positive. Try to be positive, Chris. Such a negative world. You just got to stay positive. So right. I went to take a sip, and I'm like, this thing didn't spill. And then there was one on the passenger side too, because Caleb had his on the passenger side, and that was like hanging upside down.
Perfect.
And that didn't spill or fall. So there you go. Trail. Roll or flop tested. We'll say trail flop tested
with not.
Because it wasn't a rollover.
Beverages.
It's
Absolutely.
A flop. Technically,
all right.
A flop.
So koozies make great stocking stuffers, as Jason said. Also, when you're at our webpage, there's links to our Patreon if you want to become a patron to support the show. Not necessary, but certainly appreciated.
Yes.
And never forget the IG. Jason's in charge of that. You can, if you want to DM Jason, that's a direct connection to him. Also, there's plenty of content. I know he's got a lot of stuff that he needs to post, videos and pictures and all sorts of all the shenanigans that happened down the Trail Hero in Hurricane, Utah.
Such a cool place.
Well, I think that covers a lot.
Deep subject for a shallow mind.
I know, right? Well, when this episode drops, I'll be working again.
Okay, well, good. Enjoy your week of retirement here, of unemployment. Good luck on your new job, and hopefully you can continue with the podcast.
Hell yeah. That's always going to happen.
Okay.
All right.
That's all I got.
We're out.